Where there is hatred, let us sow love.
Where there is injury, pardon.
Where there is doubt,
Faith. Where there is despair, hope.
Where there is darkness,
light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master,
grant that we may not so much seek
to be consoled as to console,
to be understood as to understand,
to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive,
it is in pardoning that we are pardoned,
and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Here is your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. DPP discontinues Piarco Airport fraud case. 6 held, firearm and narcotics seized in weekend exercises. Hazardous seize alert yellow level in effect. And internationally, 1 dead, 9 hurt in stampede at concert. Now for the details. Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard has discontinued the Piarco Airport fraud case against Basdeo Pandey, Omar Pandey, Carlos John and Ishwa Galbaran Singh. The case was for corruption related to the construction of the Piarco International Airport. According to a Guardian report, when the DPP appeared in court on Monday, he explained that his decision to discontinue the case was based on his officer's low chances of securing convictions. He also reportedly pointed to the fact that key witnesses are no longer available, as some have died and others have moved abroad. 6 persons were arrested and a firearm and quantity of narcotics seized by officers during weekend-long anti-crime exercises. In the Northeastern Division, task force officers proceeded to 2nd Caledonia Morvant, where they observed a man wanted in connection with a Barataria homicide. The suspect was arrested and taken to the Morvant police station. The same party of officers then proceeded to Cipriani Avenue, where they stopped a 23-year-old man of Morvant. A search resulted in officers finding 1 silver and black Beretta pistol loaded with 1 magazine containing 14 rounds of ammunition in his possession. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Division, an 18-year-old man of Sangre Grande was arrested for possession of a quantity of marijuana and a quantity of cash. And officers of the Matura police station arrested 3 suspects ages 18 to 31 in connection with a vehicle theft report. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service has announced another hazardous sea alert yellow level for another 24 hours, making it the 3rd advisory issued since February 28th. Northerly long-period swells continue to affect the coastal areas of Tobago, as well as the northern, eastern, and some parts of the western coastal areas of Trinidad. These conditions are expected to persist until Tuesday. These swells can result in battering waves at coastal regions and can be exacerbated during high tides. The Meteorological Office warned that all marine interests should carefully monitor near-shore coastal sea conditions and exercise caution along affected areas. In international news now, apparently false fears of a shooting at a rap concert in Rochester, New York, sent a crowd surging toward the exits, killing 1 person and injuring 9 others, police said. The injuries at Sunday night's concert were caused by people being trampled. As the concert at Rochester's Main Street Armory ended just after 11 p.m., people exiting the venue began to surge dangerously. Police made their way inside and found 3 women with critical injuries. A 33-year-old woman died at the hospital. 7 additional people were taken to hospitals and treated for injuries that were not life-threatening. Well, that was your news to the hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Hi guys, this is Vonna Bigford inviting you to Woman Power, a wonderful show celebrating women. Come out in your numbers. It's on March 8th, 2023 at Napa. It features a wonderful, wonderful cast. Come out and share energies with us as we celebrate women on International Women's Day.
The network of NGOs for the advancement of women and the Mayor of Port of Spain, Joel Martinez, presents Woman Power.
So let me tell you about real woman.
International Women's Day, Wednesday, 8th March at the Napa Auditorium. Come and enjoy Vonnet Bigford, Joanna Chuckery, Mavis John, Alicia Jagasaw, Sharda Patasa, and Patrice Roberts.
Make I go love you, Jaja.
Special guest, David Rudder. Your host is Penny Gomez. Showtime, 7 p.m. Special reserve, 300. General admission, 250. Early bird tickets, if bought by this Saturday, March 4th. Cost $25 less. For more info, call 678-7549.
WESN.
I hope that you have a great time with us. There's so many wonderful things that we're going to discuss today. Before we get started, because I already have our first guest on the line, I want to give us our daily inspiration bit for today. And that is, you are enough. You are enough. There is nothing additional that you need to do to be of more worth, of more value. Everything that you are right now, right in this very moment, is enough. You are more than enough. And don't let anyone, including yourself, make you feel that you aren't enough. Speaking about not being enough and not feeling like you're enough, we want to speak to our next guest about overcoming not enoughness. It's a phrase that I would have heard visiting a TED Talk for Spain, where this guest spoke about not enoughness. Welcoming via Zoom is Akuswa Darden Edwards. She is an author and founder of the Nina Young Women's Leadership Foundation. Welcome, Akuswa.
Good morning. Hi, Dominic.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. And we want to go straight into it, that feeling of not enoughness. I know you remember the TED Talk where you would have done, and you spoke a great length about that. Tell us about that feeling, and as International Women's Day approaches, we have all these celebrations about positivity and, the strength in being a woman and how good that is to be a woman. But there are some of us who may face challenges at this moment and might be struggling to see the joy and worth in celebrating this moment. Talk to us about that not enoughness.
Well, I think based on my own story, the not enoughness came from a couple of things. One, comparing myself to others. Two, not knowing who I am. And three, not defining what success was for me. So I started looking at what others were doing. I started wanting to do things to be a success. And it just did not seem like it was enough. I followed that formula that society gave us, where, we go to school, we get a good degree or a good education, and then we move on. And it just never felt like it was enough. And so what you have to keep in mind is all of us have our own journey and our own path. And we take time to accept and embrace not just our talents, but our circumstances and where we are. And we realize that this is where we're starting from. That feeling of not enoughness starts to go down, but it's a constant work in progress.
Right.
But if you continue to compare yourself, if you continue to not know who you are, if you continue to define success by other people's standards and society standards alone, then you will always want to prove, you will always feel most times that what you're doing is not enough. And then if you don't have that tribe, I would say that village, that support around you, that affirms you, that also plays a big part in this not enoughness.
Yes.
And not enough, it will mash you up.
For sure, for sure. I mean, you said a lot there in terms of, understanding your value within yourself. So first, quieting all the noise around you. And, being on your own, being alone, sometimes could feel like the loneliest thing. Facing that man in the mirror, as they say, or in this case, woman in the mirror, could seem very daunting. Another thing that could seem daunting is that journey to unconditional self-love. It could seem like a really difficult one to do, especially because it's a journey where you go alone, and discovering who you are. It could be one of those difficult questions. Talk to us about that.
I think, if we take the time to discover who we are, I mean, it's a simple question, right?
Yes.
Who are you? But do we ever take that time to sit down and decide who we are without the things that we own, who we are without that belief and core values that our family gives us, or the church or the religion, etc. Who are we just without all of those things? I realize that in the pit of despair, which I should say, because I lost all of those things that define success for me, and I was just left with me. So you have to ask yourself, do I even like me? Do I even know me? I even take the time every day to sit with my thoughts, and sometimes we have thoughts that sort of brutalize us because we accept them in our mind. But I think the first step towards that is defining who you are for yourself. What do I like? What brings me joy? What I don't like? Am I feeling guilty for the things that people tell me about who I am? And a lot of times we don't spend that time with ourselves because we're busy chasing and proving, and we feel that we're not enough.
Right.
It's imperative on us to really take that time, and even if it's 5 minutes in the shower, I call the shower a temple sometimes, because that's the only time that you have to yourself, maybe in the bathroom or something, but giving that signal to yourself that I am going to take a few minutes for me, starts you on the journey of knowing who you are. And people define self-love as how you look. A lot of times the capitalism comes in and we define self-love by the externals, how your nails look, how you look, etc. That is hugely important. But self-love is an inside job. And that starts with you spending time getting to know you, getting to like you, and what comes out from the inside reflects on the outside. Because if you like yourself, the decisions that you make change.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah. When you speak about, getting still and spending that time with yourself, I know one of the things that you champion is journaling. And you have a book as well that gives you that opportunity to journal. Talk to us about the importance of journaling and documenting that journey on self-discovery.
Yeah, I mean, I am a real advocate for it because of how it helped me heal. And the reason I think it helped me heal and I advocate for it is when you put things down on paper, one, it comes out of your head.
Yeah.
Because it has so many thoughts and so many things swirling around. It comes out of your head and onto this paper, which is not judging you.
Yeah.
you are just writing, or maybe even if you don't want to write, you can put pictures, you can color, you can express yourself on a piece of paper that does not judge you, that you can maybe say things or write things or draw things on the paper which you wouldn't tell anyone, or
Right.
you're not ready to tell anyone. And so for me, every day I spend the time writing down the things that are in my head, what I want to express. And I know that on this paper, there's no judgment.
Yeah.
There, there is there is no one behind the paper telling me, no, don't do that or do this. The only thing that would be responsive is my thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's me. And so I really used journaling as a way of healing, as a way of expressing myself, and as a way of, sometimes I would look on the paper and said, did I write that? It was sometimes so shocking.
Yeah.
It's sometimes in a great way and sometimes in a not so good way, because it allowed me also to express anger,
Yeah.
feelings of jealousy,
Yes.
feelings of not enoughness. And as it came out of my head and onto that paper, then I turned the journal around into being grateful for what I have, and grateful for the fact that I could express this. So I really advocate for spending some time journaling, and that all goes back to, who are you? Do
Yeah.
you like your
Yeah.
it all connects.
Yeah, and I guess when you spend time with yourself, you kind of figure out, okay, what am I dealing with? What emotion am I experiencing? And for some of us, we are experiencing grief, we're experiencing loss, battling sickness, depression, financial ills, stress. There's so many things that we are battling on a daily basis, and that can probably pose as a challenge for us really understanding our purpose and answering that question of, why are you here? Talk to us about moving on from who am I to now my purpose, and uncovering that.
Yeah, Dominique, one of the things that I have learned is life really takes the time to show us where we need to pay attention. And it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's really life saying to us, pay attention. Life is saying to us, make this shift, make this turn. But because we insist on either having our own way, or we insist on becoming a success based on other people's standards, or we insist on being certain. And life does not specialize in certainty.
Yeah.
It delights in surprises. And so when we work with life, when we work with the universe, we get to see not just what our talents are, but we get to see why we are here. And sometimes the thing that we are really good at, that we will do without pay, the things we will do that brings us this level of peace and joy that you can't explain. It may not bring you $1 million, it may not bring you any awards, but it allows you to feel that feeling, and that translates into everything that you do and the people around you. And so why you are here is because you have a purpose, and that purpose may not tie into anything more than making where you are better. If you could bake a cake and somebody who you share that cake with becomes happy, you've changed your life. You've changed something.
Yeah.
And we forget that we stand on sacred ground wherever we are, because we have the opportunity to make a choice that supports us and supports others. So in determining who you are, the next question of why are you here comes naturally. And when you are comfortable in the fact that you are enough,
Yeah.
comfortable in the fact that you define what success is for you, when you're comfortable in that space, then you know why you are here, and you don't have to prove anything. There's nothing to prove,
Yeah.
and it's nothing to fear. And it's not going to be easier. It's not going to be easy because we have all of this noise around us, people telling us what we should do, what we shouldn't do. We should, and you have to be strong and consistent in your practice to remember who you are all the time, all the
Yes.
time, everyday thing.
Yes, yes, and I know that to be true. It's a constant, everyday reminder to yourself and rediscovering and figuring out. It's never a complete thing. You know, you mentioned something just now, and I wrote it down. It said, "Life delights in surprises," which we know to be so true. You know, lives at times, and you know, in life, you know, with those things that pop up and kind of derail us. You know, on that journey of, okay, who am I? Why am I here? You know, sometimes we do get off course. And so we kind of ask ourselves, what now? So talk to us about that period of what now and moving on from there.
Yeah, you know, I'll give you a story. So for me, I kind of forgot that life delights and surprises, right?
Okay.
And you know, I'm going along my life, and I think I was doing what I felt was right. I had my spiritual practice. I'm doing healing, eating as healthy as I could. And then what life reminded me of is there are no exceptions to the challenges that come to you. All of us, once we are born in this form, will encounter challenges, situations that remind us that all of the work that we were doing before, all of that journaling, all of that, you know, spiritual practice is to use when the challenges come. The challenges will come. And I forgot that.
Yeah.
And so since this year started, a lot of things have been happening. Like, now what?
Yeah, yes.
Now what? And what I've realized is the toolkit that I built with the journaling, with the knowing who I am and why I am here, that toolkit was to pull out, to fix or to change or to shift.
Right.
That's because, you know, with a toolkit, you wouldn't use it unless something is, you need to
Fix
take
something, yes.
Exactly. And I forgot that. And so if it's one thing to remember, and if it's one thing I want to share, is build your toolkit. And your toolkit could include a playlist. You could pull out of that toolkit a song.
Yeah.
Could change your mood in an instant.
Yes.
Your toolkit could be the journal. Your toolkit could be prayer. Your toolkit could be in nature. What is in your toolkit? And this will determine when you hit these challenges, when you hit these obstacles.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yes.
And in the toolkit could be how you feel your feelings, because you cannot go through it without feeling your feelings. You can't heal.
Yeah.
So what is in your toolkit? And I mean, some people, they automatically go into a mode where their toolkit, they take a hammer to put a screwdriver in, and it might work, but it would not be the optimum thing.
Right.
So in asking myself, now what? I had to go back and remember, one, that life is designed to show us where we are, good and not so good, and to have that toolkit ready. And you have to prepare yourself every day. So you're not exempt from the challenges of life. It's not a punishment. It's not something happening to me. So
Yes.
you know, avoid the victim mode as much as possible.
Right.
It's really life saying to you, pause. Take that toolkit out. What should I be doing or not doing? what did I forget?
Yeah.
I still connected to who I am. Do I need to remember? And these are the things that we forget when we're in the midst of a challenge. Huh?
Yes, for sure.
We just want it to end. But on the flip side of that is something even better, because think about it, Dominique. You go through something really challenging in life, and you come to the other side and you realize, oh my God, I did that. And the surprise on the other side is so much better than you ever expected.
Yeah, it definitely makes going through the challenge, as difficult as it is, worth it. And that's very easy to say, having gone through the challenge, but it really makes you understand there is purpose in everything. There is not, it doesn't, happen to me and it's a surprise, it's that there is a reason why, there's a purpose. We want to thank you for joining us today and sharing. This is truly a powerful conversation with you. Before you leave, all these themes that we mentioned, these questions that we unpacked in this brief interview, are all addressed in your line of books. Where can persons get more information on you, on purchasing your books, on social media, on your website? Share that information with the listeners.
Sure. So the 3 books and the journal are all available on my website, akosua.edwards.com, amazon.com, and I am on social media, Akosua D. Edwards, IG, Twitter, etc. And I really want to thank you, Dominic, for inviting me and having the opportunity to share my stories. And as international they come up, it's good to celebrate. And the celebration is a marker of where we are, and to remember how many women paved the way for us to be here, and we really stand on this holy ground. And what we do for that celebration is important. It cannot just be tokenism.
Yes.
It has to be meaningful, that pays homage and honor to the women who paved the way for us to be here right now.
Yes, absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much. We are going to a break. When we come back, we're talking more about International Women's Day and all of the activities that will be celebrated on that day. See you on the other side of the break.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity, from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Did you know that polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, is one of the most common issues faced by women of reproductive age in Trinidad and Tobago.
So we see more patients with polycystic if they're obese, but there are the small-built patients who also have polycystic ovaries.
What other treatment options are there available for these girls? What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Thank you for staying with us. We are going to be chatting with a couple groups this morning concerning International Women's Day. We'll also be ending the show talking to Ian Hayward of Celian Group about the upcoming Trinidad and Tobago Gospel Festival. To prelude this interview, we have a watch this, and this watch this was taken from the Gospel Music Awards that happened a while back. Let's take in this wonderful performance from Michelle Sylvester and from Denise Plummer.
Somebody put your hands in the air. Nobody going outside. Yeah, 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 yeah. Put something up. Put something up. Put your hand in the air. Put your hand in the air. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Tell them. Miss Sylvester is the name. You might know me from my days. I was tearing up the stage. I was mashing up the place. Who would think a few years later I would change up my behavior to something greater? I get an encounter. God said, listen, daughter, I have an assignment here for you. This ain't what I sent you here to do. Michelle, gonna love ya. Come back to your father. And right in that moment my heart was changed. One set of tears I found on my face and thought for amazing grace. Now I turn a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. Them go say what they go say. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. I'll tell you a British crown I used to win. Mash up the place all over the world, Switzerland, even England and Spain. Then Jesus follows my name. Was late in the evening, was by the bar drinking, just having a time taking a smoke. But then I heard the Lord spoke, then he's just sleeping. The life of a meeting, and right in that moment my heart was changed. I could never be the same. Thank God for amazing grace. Now I turn a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. They go say what they go say. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. I tell you, I safe on the inside. Nobody going outside. I safe on the inside. I'm leaning on the Lord's side today. I'm not going to turn back again. In Christ I go stay. It had nothing for me outside it. It had nothing for me outside it. Say it had nothing for me. It had nothing for me. Nothing for me outside it. No ways. No demon in hell can conquer me. I am under a new authority. I can't change my past or change my heart. Bring a new wine out of me. This world has nothing to offer me. In Jesus I find security. I tell you I'm safe on the inside. I'm not going back outside. Amazing grace. Now I'm on a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. They go say what they go say. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. I tell you I'm safe on the inside. Nobody going outside. I'm safe on the inside. I'm leaning on the Lord's side today. I'm not going to turn back again. In Christ I go stay. It had nothing for me outside it.
That was today's Watch This video. We're going to get to that interview in the 7 o'clock hour where we talk to Cillian Group about the amazing event that's coming up. Right now, we're going to shift back to International Women's Day, and we have with us, joining via Zoom, Dr. Angelique Nixon, who is a senior lecturer at the Institute for Gender and Development Studies at UWI. Welcome, Angelique.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to get into it one time. Tell us about International Women's Day and the organization IWDTT.
Yes, International Women's Day Trinidad and Tobago is a coalition and an alliance of women's organizations, civil society organizations, and the Institute for Gender and Development Studies at the University of the West Indies. And we have joined forces for the last few years, really since 2017, for a solidarity march and rally around the Savannah. And we come together each year, usually on the Saturday before or after International Women's Day.
All right. This year's theme, it's about technology, women embracing technology, and the local spin on it, but it's also about inclusion, right? In terms of technology. The local spin on it is embrace everyone. Give us some insight into that theme.
Yes, well, the international theme actually for it is embrace equity.
Right.
And yes, so embrace equity, and our local spin on that is embrace everyone. So what does it mean to embrace equity? Well, it means that we need to think about social and economic equity. And that is around fairness, it's about balance, and it's about inclusion. And the UN theme is digital, which is about digital access for everyone. So our local theme, each year we take a local spin on it, but we also have our every year we think about the fact that women's rights are everyone's responsibility. Mm-hmm. We share this message that we should all be able to be there. So every year it's like everyone is welcome. Everyone is invited. Yes. We should all be interested in women's rights. And this year we're thinking about the idea that, no matter what you look like, no matter who you are, no matter who you love, we want everyone to be a part of Embrace Everyone, and come out on Saturday, March 11th at 2:30 p.m. at the Queen's Park Savannah, and we meet opposite TGI Fridays, and everyone is invited to bring your message and come. Bring your organizations, bring your crew, bring your messages, bring your placards, bring your Yeah, bring your musical instruments. And so all are welcome. We're going to have music. We're going to have lovely hosts. 2 Gemettes are hosting for us.
Nice.
And we're going to have a number of things as we rally on the road and walk around the savannah starting at 3 p.m. on Saturday, March 11th.
Right,
all are welcome.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you about the significance of that message. You know, bring your message and come. The significance of that to the organization, to the women, to the persons, the allies who would be there.
Yes, absolutely. So each and every year, you know, we want to, for International Women's Day is also about celebrating women's achievements. We're celebrating all women.
Yes.
We're thinking about women of all genders, women of all sexualities, and women of all disabilities, migrant women, women from all walks of life and different backgrounds and different geographic locations. So we really want to think about this as an event that we come together each year, we celebrate. We also think about how we highlight issues of discrimination and inequalities, because we're fighting each and every day for gender justice.
Yes.
All of the civil society organizations, as well as the Institute for Gender and Development Studies, we fight each and every day to think about gender justice and what does it mean for us to take action each day for gender justice in our workplaces, in our homes, you know, towards, you know, thinking about what are the kinds of policy changes that we want to make. So in every aspect of life, we are thinking about this idea of gender justice and how do we achieve it. This year, we're focusing on equity. What does equity mean? And equity is an all-encompassing term that thinks about not only equality and how we achieve equality, but also this aspect of justice, fairness, and inclusion and diversity, and being free of discrimination.
Yeah, in embracing everyone, our laws, our policies should reflect that. What is the call of action from the organization to the policymakers, you know, to have inclusion within the policies and the law?
Well, remember, these are multiple organizations, so over 20 organizations, civil society organizations. We have Girl Guides Association, we have CIWIL, we have the Network for NGOs, we have WOMANTRA, we have the Institute for Gender and Development Studies, we have Feminine, so many organizations who have made this event possible. So we're a working group and a collective. And so indeed, all of us work on different fronts around policy, around calling and advocating for change. But I think policymakers should really listen to civil society and think about the place of gender. Gender has to be infused in how we do our work. And so our policies must be inclusive and to consider the different kinds of experiences and the forms of discrimination that take place every day. And so that means that policymakers should be listening. They should be listening and really taking into account what civil society organizations are saying, and to ensure that gender is infused and that gender is a part of the policy frameworks and that gender is included meaningfully, not just as an additive, but actually throughout how we're making our plans, from budgeting, you know, to thinking about, you know, hiring practices, to, you know, protecting people in the workplace.
Yes, we know that we're honoring, you know, the legacy of Hazel Brown. Talk to us a bit about that and what that looks like this year.
Yes, we're inviting folks, and we're going to see that those messages across social media today, especially that we want folks, you know, on our IWDTT Instagram pages, as well as Facebook, to please share messages of gratitude, memories of Hazel Brown. You know, we are here celebrating International Women's Day because the Network for NGOs and other women's rights organizations and civil society organizations have made that possible for decades. It's very important for us to remember that International Women's Day has been celebrated in Trinidad and Tobago for over 30 years, starting in San Fernando with a march, as well as in Port of Spain for decades. So we're building on that work. And just a special shout out that the Network for NGOs is having a concert tomorrow night on IWD. I hope your listeners are going to attend. It's at Napa. And yes, so we want to celebrate Hazel Brown and remember her. So please, we ask you to share your messages of her, share those across Facebook and Instagram or whatever social media you're on, and also bring those messages, placards with you on Saturday, March 11th. Again, 2:30 p.m. we gather in front of or opposite TGI Fridays at the Queen's Park Savannah, and we begin walking at 3 p.m. sharp. Everyone is invited, please.
Yes, and before we wrap, persons who may be interested in joining the movement, supporting in one way or the other, where can they find you all on social media?
At IWDTT, International Women's Day, Trinidad and Tobago. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, and follow any of the organization as well. You'll see the different hosts. And of course, you can follow IGDS, St. Augustine, as well to find more information.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Nixon. We appreciate you for joining us. All the best with the march and all the other activities for International Women's Day.
I hope to see you out as well.
I'm hoping to be a part of it.
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem. We go to a quick break, and when we come back, we talk more about International Women's Day.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue our conversation surrounding International Women's Day, and joining us from the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network is Janelle Fraser, who's the president. Thank you, Janelle, for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So we're talking International Women's Day, and let's talk about the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network. Tell us what that's about.
Certainly. The Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network began operations in January of 2020, and it is a non-governmental, non-partisan youth organization, and we serve through advocacy, training, development, and philanthropy. So promoting the welfare of others is at the core of what we do as an organization. Coming out of COVID-19, we had not been very active. So our initiative for International Women's Day is one of our first large-scale events since things have been moving towards normalcy again.
Right. And talk to us about the importance of women leadership and now moving into International Women's Day within the organization itself.
It is very important. It's very important to us, and I think what's most important, or what stands out the most, is the theme for International Women's Day this year, which is embrace equity. And oftentimes, as much as we don't speak about it, there are many instances, even now in 2023, where women are not given equal opportunities simply because we are men. So the importance of International Women's Day and the importance of this event is to really showcase, broadcast, remind, and really raise that awareness that we deserve that. And in the same way, educate persons and allow them to speak up.
Right. So let's go into this event. Talk to us about the Unspoken, this forum. What does it entail? What can persons who come to it, attending it, experience when they get there?
Okay, certainly. So the Unspoken is our way, Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network's way of allowing women to be heard. So the name of the event is the Unspoken because we are going to touch on topics that we don't talk about or we don't talk about anymore. We don't talk about often enough. So two of the key events that we're going to start off with is breaking the glass ceiling and singleness and self-fulfillment. So we chose two topics because we know they are pressing issues. We know that it's things that bothers, that are real challenges for us women in 2023, us millennials as well. And we felt like it's something that we needed to press on. So we have invited panelists and we have marketed and we have partnered with other youth organizations throughout Trinidad and Tobago to try our best to make the event a success.
What goes into the planning of this event? Because I know you said for the pandemic, you're kind of coming off of being inactive. So now, coming into now restrictions being limited and so on, the group is back together, you're doing the work. How has this experience been leading up to planning this event?
It has been challenging. It has been challenging mainly because our team has not been able to physically meet to do any planning. So we have really just been capitalizing on the virtual space. We meet via Zoom primarily. We meet with all of our partners. We communicate with our sponsors virtually. So everything has been done virtually. The only thing is leading closer to the event. That's where we have to start being in person and really start gathering things together. It has been challenging, but because the restrictions are not relaxed, we're able to maneuver our way much easier.
Nice. So just give us some more details on the event, where persons can get tickets, the date, the time, all of that information.
Oh, certainly. So the tickets are available on Island e-tickets. We also have some representatives throughout TTN and with our partners that we have persons that don't want to purchase their tickets online, but prefer to get the in-person, pay the cash. They don't want to go through the whole process. So you can visit our Instagram page, TTN Official, or our Facebook page. We have also created a special page for the Unspoken because there are different packages starting at $100. And it's going to be a very, very, very good event. The date of the event is on the 11th of March, which is this coming Saturday, and the venue is Government Compass Plaza in Port of Spain.
Okay, and now I know that there's an optional color scheme or theme for the event. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yes, certainly. So we gave persons the option of wearing white so that they don't feel pressure to wear white, but still understand the importance of it. So we would like persons to really utilize the color scheme, but at the same time not feel as if they are obligated to use the color scheme.
What is the importance of and the significance of wearing white? Yeah, I think you're a bit muted. I'm not sure. We're not hearing you anymore. All right, so you'll have to unmute to tell us what is the significance of white, right?
Sorry, can you hear?
Right, we won't hear you. I think you were muted just now. So you were just telling us. That's okay, you're just telling us the significance of wearing white.
Yes, certainly. I'm just going to read something that we would have prepared.
No problem.
So the purpose of us using white as the color scheme is in support of the suffragist movement. And I'm just going to read briefly that, Mary Wollstone published the Vatican of Rights of Women in 1792, and this tribalized feminist manifesto established through radical notion that women should have equal rights to education, work, and politics. So during the 1800s, many individuals in agreement with Wollstonecraft advocated for women's suffrage or right to vote. The first petition demanding such rights was presented to Parliament in 1832, and in October of 1905, two fearless young women, through a political meeting, through a political meeting in Manchester, before unfurling a banner that votes for women, they asked for speakers, including politicians, to wear white.
Okay.
So we pretty much use the suffragist movement as sort of a launching pad and to understand its significance, and we kind of merge it together with our event to allow persons to understand what this means and to incorporate it.
Okay, great. So as we wrap, just remind us of the date, the time of the events, and where tickets can be purchased.
Certainly. So the date of the event is on March 11th. That's this coming Saturday. Tickets can be purchased at islandetickets.com, and it's also available through some of our members and our partners, and the contact information is available via our Instagram and Facebook profile.
Okay, and what is the handle for Instagram and Facebook?
It's TTN Official and The Unspoken, as well as for Facebook, it is Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network.
Thank you so much, Janelle Fraser, Acting President of the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. We take a short break, go straight to news, and when we come back, we have much more.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing now, Andre.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is there no pressure on Nicholas Paul?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Here's your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. DPP discontinues Piarco Airport fraud case. 6 held, firearm and narcotics seized in weekend exercises. Hazardous seize alert yellow level in effect. And internationally, 1 dead, 9 hurt in stampede at concert. Now for the details. Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard has discontinued the Piarco Airport fraud case against Basdeo Pandey, Omar Pandey, Carlos John and Ishwa Galbaran Singh. The case was for corruption related to the construction of the Piarco International Airport. According to a Guardian report, when the DPP appeared in court on Monday, he explained that his decision to discontinue the case was based on his officer's low chances of securing convictions. He also reportedly pointed to the fact that key witnesses are no longer available, as some have died and others have moved abroad. 6 persons were arrested and a firearm and quantity of narcotics seized by officers during weekend-long anti-crime exercises. In the Northeastern Division, task force officers proceeded to 2nd Caledonia Morvant, where they observed a man wanted in connection with a Barataria homicide. The suspect was arrested and taken to the Morvant police station. The same party of officers then proceeded to Cipriani Avenue, where they stopped a 23-year-old man of Morvant. A search resulted in officers finding one silver and black Beretta pistol loaded with one magazine containing 14 rounds of ammunition in his possession. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Division, an 18-year-old man of Sangre Grande was arrested for possession of a quantity of marijuana and a quantity of cash. And officers of the Matura police station arrested 3 suspects ages 18 to 31 in connection with a vehicle theft report. The Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service has announced another hazardous sea alert yellow level for another 24 hours, making it the 3rd advisory issued since February 28th. Northerly long-period swells continue to affect the coastal areas of Tobago, as well as the northern, eastern, and some parts of the western coastal areas of Trinidad. These conditions are expected to persist until Tuesday. These swells can result in battering waves at coastal regions and can be exacerbated during high tides. The Meteorological Office warned that all marine interests should carefully monitor near-shore coastal sea conditions and exercise caution along affected areas. In international news now, apparently false fears of a shooting at a rap concert in Rochester, New York, sent a crowd surging toward the exits, killing 1 person and injuring 9 others, police said. The injuries at Sunday night's concert were caused by people being trampled. As the concert at Rochester's Main Street Armory ended just after 11 p.m., people exiting the venue began to surge dangerously. Police made their way inside and found 3 women with critical injuries. A 33-year-old woman died at the hospital. 7 additional people were taken to hospitals and treated for injuries that were not life-threatening. Well, that was your news to the hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Hi guys, this is Vonna Bigford inviting you to Woman Power, a wonderful show celebrating women. Come out in your numbers. It's on March 8th, 2023 at Napa. It features a wonderful, wonderful cast. Come out and share energies with us as we celebrate women on International Women's Day.
The network of NGOs for the advancement of women and the mayor of Port of Spain, Joel Martinez, presents Woman Power.
So let me tell you about real woman.
International Women's Day, Wednesday, 8th March at the Napa Auditorium. Come and enjoy Vonette Bigford, Joanna Chuckery, Mavis John, Alicia Jagasaw, Sharda Patasa, and Patrice Roberts. Special guest, David Rudder. Your host is Penny Gomez. Showtime, 7 p.m. Special reserve, 300. General admission, 250. Early bird tickets, if bought by this Saturday, March 4th. Cost $25 less. For more info, call 678-7549.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for still being here. We are celebrating Women. International Women's Day is just one day away. And even with our next interview, where we talk about the Trinidad and Tobago Gospel Festival, we're still celebrating women. So because of that, we're going back to our watch list to take in a performance from Michelle Sylvester and Denise Plummer at GMAT, which happened a few years ago. Let's watch.
Somebody put your hands in the air. Nobody going outside. Yeah, 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 yeah. Put something up. Put something up. Put your hand in the air. Put your hand in the air. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Tell them. Miss Sylvester is the name. You might know me from my days. I was tearing up the stage. I was mashing up the place. Who would think a few years later I would change up my behavior to something greater? I get an encounter. God said, listen, daughter, I have an assignment here for you. This ain't what I sent you here to do. Michelle, gonna love ya. Come back to your father. And right in that moment, my heart was changed. One set of tears I run down my face and God for amazing grace. Now I turn a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. Them go say what they go say. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. I'll tell you, I safe on the inside. Nobody going outside. I safe on the inside. I'm leaning on the Lord's side today. I'm not going to turn back again. In Christ I go stay. It had nothing for me outside. Michelle, girl, what anything? My story kinda the same. Call him so I used to sing. And his crown I used to win. Mash up the place all over the world. Switzerland, even England and Spain. Then Jesus called out my name. Was late in the evening. Was by the bar drinking. Just having a time taking a smoke. But then I heard the Lord spoke. Then he's just sleeping. The life of a meaning. And right in that moment my heart was changed. I could never be the same. Thank God for amazing grace. Now I turn a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. They go say what they go say. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. I tell you, I safe on the inside. Nobody going outside. I safe on the inside. I'm leaning on the Lord's side today. I'm not going to turn back again. In Christ I go stay. It had nothing for me outside it. It had nothing for me outside it. Say it had nothing for me. It had nothing for me. Nothing for me outside it. No ways. No demon in hell can conquer me. I am under a new authority. I can't change my past, God change my heart. Bring a new wine out of me. This world has nothing to offer me. In Jesus I find security. I tell you I safe on the inside. And not going back outside. Amazing grace. Now I turn a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. They go say what they go say. Nobody can stop my praise. Nobody can stop my praise. I tell you I safe on the inside. Nobody going outside. I safe on the inside. I'm leaning on the Lord's side today. I'm not going to turn back again. In Christ I go stay. It had nothing for me outside there. And nothing for me. Nothing for me. No. Denise. No. It had nothing for me. No. It had nothing for me. It had nothing for me. Outside. I want to hear your voices. Come on. Nobody going outside. I'm not going no way. I'm leaning on the Lord's side today. I want them to sing. Sing it, sing it. In Christ I go. It's thank God for amazing grace. Now I turn a different page. Nobody can stop my praise. Sing it. Nobody can stop my praise. People say that I ain't changed. Them go say what they go.
Still celebrating International Women's Day, two queens, Michelle Sylvester and Denise Plummer, and they performed at GMAT a few years ago. And now we're speaking to the man behind GMAT, the man behind Cillian Group. Welcoming via Zoom, we have Ian Hayward with us, Jr. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, all.
Thank you for being here with us. Now,
it's a pleasure.
Awesome. Now we're hearing about Trinidad and Tobago Gospel Festival.
Yes.
What is happening? Where did this come from? What's going on?
Well, it's not really a surprise to those of us planning, right? It was part of the forecast for the last couple of years. This will be the 6th annual edition of the Gospel Music Awards.
Right.
And we actually had a 5-year plan to transition and to continue to grow the movement. And even with the last 2 years of having COVID or the pandemic impact the nation, we were still able to execute the event. And so it's really a progression now that we have passed through phase 1, which is educating the people, highlighting our artists, helping them be more marketable, have them all over the Caribbean headlining.
Yes.
Now we're going to bring a spotlight in terms of we are capable enough as an industry to invite the world.
Yeah. Let's backtrack a bit. Yes, let's backtrack a bit and talk about Cillian Group. How did this organization come about? Because you have been doing some amazing, impactful work over the years.
Nice. Actually, we are, Cillian Group is an NGO.
Okay.
And we started in 2005. So we are approaching 20 years.
Wow.
It was mostly really youth work to alleviate youth stress. So our motto was really trying to be the change that we seek. So we started with football tournaments. There was nothing really outlet for us after secondary school. So we created that football tournament and invited so many different teams from all over the country to take part. And coming out of that, we got National Youth Awards for Sports Management. And then we started to do some concerts, some choir festivals, and it was amazing to see the impact. And for a while, we have gone on a lot of corporate events. We have been doing a number of events for Ministry of National Security, anti-crime, the United Nations, that.
Right.
And as we got older, we started to do a number of even other national events. But with the changing times, with the mentality of the young people, we decided it's important that we stand in the gap in this particular space from a gospel perspective to highlight the goodness, to highlight decency, and to most importantly do it at an international level. Because there was a perception before that when it's something gospel, it should be done at a lower level because it's just church and that kind of stuff. So we have absolutely shattered that perception and presenting culture, presenting talent, presenting ministry at a national and international level, and that one position. So by doing that, it raised an absolute light on the market. And as the minister would have said in a press release we did, or a press conference we did, we have actually created a diversified culture market for Trinidad and Tobago. So it's amazing to hear that.
Yeah, let's go back to that gospel perspective, because I mean, with the onset of this festival coming, it's a change, but it's in the right direction. It's growth. And, I wanted to find out in terms of the festival, you're creating opportunities for growth, you're creating opportunities for wealth, as well as, to showcase creatives and the talent within the gospel fraternity. Have you, received any hesitation or any sort of, discomfort where the local church is concerned, as you move into this new dimension of things?
Not as much as we'd have probably braced for.
Okay.
To be honest. But that's part and parcel of it. In anything we do, especially in our multicultural, multi-diverse society from young, we knew that there will always be a market of people who have different views and different opinions. And our Trinbagonian culture is to be very strong and vocal with those views. So if we sign up as individuals, anything on a national platform, or anything period, we have to be able to be mature enough to withstand those challenges. What I tell people, though, especially from the gospel perspective, is really based on conviction. And God convicts us individually, independently, and in His own time.
Yes.
So once you're operating within that realm, someone else may not have that specific conviction or understanding or light at that given time on that particular issue. So from a mature perspective, try not to get too emotionally involved in what others may have to say, but really stay focused and stay in tune with what we believe we are called to do at this particular time.
Right. So talk to us about the Trinidad and Tobago Gospel Festival. What would it entail, the activities surrounding it?
Right. Well, it's our first one. So we, of course, going to be very measured, but we have so many plans.
Right.
So the first thing first, on the Thursday, the opening ceremony, we would like to have a business conference. We'll be having the business conference.
Okay.
That first thing, what we're doing there is teaching artists and musicians and people in the industry how to make your ministry a business as well, how to do the right things, and it's open to anybody, because that business conference is not genre specific. Music business conference is just a music business conference. So we're doing things like, how do you get your music properly copyright written? We have IPO coming to talk about trademarking our brands on intellectual property. We have the music business. How do you now transform your platforms from CDs to streaming platforms?
Okay.
How do you market that? How do you be self-sufficient? How do you increase the quality of your production? By understanding that when you produce and you mix and you master your stuff properly, it gives you an international audience. And that kind of conversation we'll be having on the Thursday for anybody. For anybody. And all that information and that registration will come out on our page in about a week. And then we go into the big shows. We would have done a couple of these shows before. And as we mentioned, we do a number of shows all during the year.
Yes.
A number of people regionally would be like, wow, I would have loved to come to Trinidad for that. I would have loved to come there for that. But it may not have made economic sense to come to Trinidad for one night.
Right.
So what we have done is by putting some of these shows together, it's absolutely transformed the regional interaction, because it makes viable sense now to come to Trinidad from Thursday to Monday.
Right, for that weekend, yes.
What you get in that weekend from that Christocentric perspective is absolutely sensible. So that area would have surprised us the most in terms of the response rate, the engagement. So right now we're talking to hotels to get special packages for those who want to come in. So that is really interesting, and it's really good that we could stand in that gap and kind of put a light to that. So we'll be on Friday night, we'll have our worship event, which will be led out by Kiara Shade Kelly.
Yes.
She's a Grammy Award-winning worship artist, and that is an event we always tend to bring a huge international for. Reason culturally, we don't have worship shows in Trinidad.
Okay.
People say you can get it in church for free. But you have worship ministers who are also artists, who also need to be engaged, who also need to survive, who also need to live as well. So by creating this space and inviting an international worshiper, we also get the opportunity to see some of our locals who would have had that talent and that specific genre also engaged, and not only what we are accustomed to, the soca artists, the dancehall artists, the reggae artists, etc.
Yes.
So that'll be that. And then on the Saturday now, we have a Caribbean night. One artist basically from 7 Caribbean islands, and then a team from Trinidad and Tobago. To really, and that one will be streamed internationally on pay-per-view, because that one is to really let the world know the Caribbean has something to offer. And it's a West Indian concept, basically. We can be good at one individual cricket team, but when we come together as a West Indies, the product is able to rival the Australia or the England and to rival the first world. So it was based on that same philosophical concept that we have this I rep Christ and I rep my island. So we're asking all you girls of your various islands to come out, to stand up and rep your colors, and get your experience, and let the world know what the Caribbean has to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds exciting. I am excited about it. And we're seeing here where this festival would create so many job opportunities, attract tourism, and so many different avenues. And one of the things that I love what you said is to showcase the creativity of the gospel industry. And it's more than just sound and dance. Talk to us about that, because there's talent beyond song and dance in the gospel industry.
And that is what the last show is about. The Gospel Music Awards of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
This one will be about featuring the gospel arts. And unbelievable, it's not going to be a singy concert where you come and 10 people come up and sing, 10 artists, 10 ministers come up and sing. It's not going to be that. It's going to be theatrical. It's going to have spoken word. It's going to have musical pieces. It's going to have dance. You may see swinging from the sky. So we're actually going to push the envelope. Because we are Trinbagonian people, right? And there is a natural energy that is in our veins in terms of our creative will and our creative power. And we believe that should be, especially for positivity, should be highlighted. Our talents are not just to be used or highlighted for things that may not be as positive as other things. It should be done for everything and without apology. We stand in that position or with that position to be able to bring that to the world, because especially when people come to Trinidad and Tobago, they still want to see things that are synonymous to what we call our Trinbagonian culture, regardless of what influence would have brought them to our shows. And that's what the awards is about. It really does magic in terms of the production. We award things like the music video of the year, and that speaks a number of things. It speaks to the not just the audio but the visual content and the creativity of so many top of the line videographers who now we see in CPL and we see doing big corporate advertisements now coming out of that kind of space. So it's unbelievable the impact that is having.
Yes. With this new level of purpose, and I mean new to us, but not new to the team that's behind the scenes planning and working on this, but this new level of purpose and vision, would come a new level of focus and determination. Talk to us about that without sharing too much. Talk to us about that for you and the team, that shift in focus and, how you are running ahead doing this.
Well, to be honest, trailblazing is very difficult because you go forward into empty space and you take all the first hits and you also make all the first mistakes. So it is a mentality and a psyche and a psyche of a particular person to be a trailblazer, and that is why I am really appreciate the Cillian group team, because they have been doing this. Most of the team have been doing it for the last 15 years. It's not a team that has broken up and the people have changed. And although that is part of group dynamics, we have a team that have bought into this, and that is critical, especially when you're doing purpose-driven stuff. Purpose-driven stuff are things that are on your spirit and in your philosophy for a long while until that is changed. So that has been the most important thing in terms of giving us the opportunity to push through that trailblazing space. But it's very difficult. And there are people who would have tried it because it looks nice when it comes off and then realize how difficult it is. And we just try to encourage people to don't just do things for doing things sake, but do things with purpose. And the purpose will be different for everybody. But we have found a group of people with like mind, same spiritual underpinning, that come together to do this and have a very strong national ethos as well. To have a pride in Trinidad and Tobago that we think young people should know and should feel and should experience. It will affect how you take care of the city. It will affect how you take care of your community. So that's what we do, that's what we stay. And what it has done, it has pulled persons with like mind who are in that space who have now seen us to come and volunteer, to come and be a part. What we have also done is highlighted a number of brilliant young people. Without apology, we are not afraid to engage young 25-year-olds with their masters or their PhDs and give them a space to do things that their spirit or their heart would have told them they could do, but no one would give them that opportunity to experiment on their brand, on their product. We tend to do a lot more of that. and allow a lot more creativity, and that's what keeping us fresh. I believe that's what keeps us being able to push the envelope, because it's not the same people all the time coming up with the creative ideas. You have to be brave enough to encourage the younger people or just new people into the space, understanding that what we're trying to do is not about self, but about national good and international representation.
Love that, love that. Okay, so tell us the details. When is the festival taking place? Where can persons find more information, purchase tickets?
Right, so the festival will be the 27th of April, Thursday 27th of April to Sunday the 30th of April. Tickets are at Showholics, all Showholics nationwide, Trinidad and Tobago, Excellent Stores, Eclefilai, all locations as well, all Excellent Stores as well. So that's down C3 right up to Tobago Port Mall, right down to West Mall, up to Rima, and everywhere in between. And then you have Ari Auto tickets and King's Lounge as well in Movie Town and Arima. And that is to give it a real national spread. And yeah, we have tickets online as well at tobertickets.com. Those tickets are going really fast. That's for the international audience, especially. And we have a special, while each general ticket is $250 and each VIP ticket is $500. 250 and yes, 500. We have a special where you have the entire weekend pass, general for 500 and a VIP pass for 1,000. So it's unbelievable, but again, we have a different mission, a different purpose, so we're able to provide that kind of opportunity. And yeah, it's exciting. The interactions thus far is unbelievable. The support from you all as well is wonderful because as a national platform, it's really nice to see the balance in coverage and the balance in opportunity for all things local. And I want to commend you. I want to commend you all for that, for taking the brave step to have balanced journalism and national coverage.
Yes, I think it's important, and I think that it's a good opportunity. It is a purpose-driven opportunity, as you said, to have this gospel festival and to see persons, not just in the gospel fraternity, coming together, but persons of like mind and like interest. So we wish you all the best with this. We'll definitely check in with you closer to the date to find out how things are going and to get people excited to be there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
No problem. Most importantly, we're looking forward to seeing everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for staying with us. This was AM Prime. We had a great morning. We celebrated women. We spoke about International Women's Day, which is coming up, and we were educated. We want to wish you all the best today. Have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, and if you feel unwell, social distance or even stay home. Have a great day.
WESN.
I am Kemuel Pascal and we are WESN, Content Capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best.
I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
Did you know that polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, is one of the most common issues faced by women of reproductive age in Trinidad and Tobago?
So we see more patients with polycystic if they're obese, but there are the small-built patients who also have polycystic ovaries.
What other treatment options are there available for these girls? What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
I am Rondell Donowa, attorney at law and host of Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Strictly Legal is a legal program geared towards informing you, the public, of your legal rights, responsibilities, and remedies. So be viewing Thursdays 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.